All right, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. I am Richard Taylor, and I'm coming back with some information, an update concerning a video or a couple of videos I did concerning Mr. John Twitty, who was the executive director of Wayne Preparatory Academy. I did one video that detailed that he was removed from his position as executive director. A couple of days later, I did a video citing a Goldsboro Daily News article, how his removal was actually a retirement after 35 years of service in the public school systems. And just tonight, I'm talking about 30 minutes ago, I just received a message from an individual that works at another charter school that tells me that Mr. Twitty has just been hired as a teacher's assistant in that charter school, right? So there's a lot of questions real quick, and I'm going to rehash it. Then I'm going to ask you guys some questions and see if it makes sense or doesn't make sense to you. Now, the first video I did was about the removal of Mr. Twitty. At that time, I didn't know the circumstances behind the removal. An individual who was who is closely connected to the school informed me that early last week, probably about Wednesday, that Mr. Twitty was, I would say, removed, for lack of a better word. He had left his tenure. He had been relieved of his duties for lack of a better word, as executive director of the school that he had served for, a various amount of capacities. He was the middle school principal of the school at one time and may have still been, I'm not sure. But his last position, as it was related in a subsequent article, was the executive director. Now, once again, 2 days later, about January the 29th, Goldsboro Daily News put out an article confirming my initial video. And instead of them saying that he was removed, the article cited his removal as a retirement. Now, granted, as I mentioned in the previous videos, Mr. Twitty has been a staple in the public schools system for, the article said, 35 years. Now, once again, I know him as, a high school basketball coach during my one semester at Eastern Wayne. Now, as I posed the question, what executive director in that high level of position would all of a sudden just up and retire, first of all, in the middle of a week, most importantly, in the middle of a school year, knowing the position that it will put the school system in that he is affiliated with? They have to find another executive director. They have to, change the guards. No doubt the students are wondering what happened. And I stated some reasons in the previous video, the initial video, that was told to me of some of the alleged misdeeds that may have led to Mr. Twitty's quote-unquote retirement. And you can go check that video out. But once again, that information is purely speculation or allegation and has not been deemed to be true based on some information that was provided to me. So we don't know why. Once again, and I always put retirement because the question remains. This article was put out January the 29th, and I think that was on Monday, if I'm not mistaken, Monday or Tuesday. Now, just today, Thursday, February the 1st, an individual said that he has been hired as a teacher assistant at Dillard Academy, which is also a charter school, and I think that services either elementary or middle school students. Don't quote me. Now, once again, I'm not a rocket scientist, or or nor do I play one on TV. But what person retires from a job? And I looked up the salary of the executive director at Wayne Preparatory Academy, and that salary was over and upwards of $100,000 per year. Now, normally when a person retires, they take a break, they take some time off, they go to Cancun, they go visit the grandkids, they take a hiatus, whatever the case may be. Now, once again, I've never retired, so I don't know how that goes, but if I just announced my retirement, last week, in my opinion, I don't think that I would be signing right up for a job as a teacher's assistant. Now, basically, he went from the executive director, the highest man on the totem pole in a charter school system, and once again, this is no disrespect to teachers' assistants, because, I know they hold a very important role in our education system. But in my opinion, he may have went all the way to the lowest spot on the totem pole in the form of a teacher's assistant. Now, that does not just seem plausible to me. It adds more suspicion or speculation to the actual reason that he, once again, I have to quotate this, he, quote, retired, because, once again, the retirement seems somewhat in question, being that it is dead in the middle of a school year. And so this act, and I don't know that if a news agency will cover this. I know a lot of times I see, I do a video and then the next day the Goldsboro Daily News or some other news outlet may cover the story. But I don't know if they will cover the story. But according to someone who actually works in that system, in that school, that charter school, that yes, Mr. Twitty has been hired as a teacher's assistant. Now, he was also hired by the principal of Dillard Academy, who was the then principal. Dang, I'm old. How many years ago was that? Maybe 20, how old am I? 28 years ago, maybe? Yeah, maybe 28 years ago when I was at Eastern Wayne, Miss Carol Battle. I think that it was Battle Coley then. But she was the principal back then when I played basketball for Coach Twitty in 11th grade. So they definitely have, I guess, a history. And once again, I don't know the circumstances surrounding his departure from Wayne Preparatory Academy. And, maybe, she reached out to him and, asked him to just come on and help out. I don't know. But once again, it seems kind of strange that a man with such a high resume, with such a high position, will retire from that position and then less than a week later take on a position as a teacher's assistant. Now, once again, I haven't confirmed this information. So, once again, I don't know this is true. I'm hoping it's true because the person said, Lee, I literally seen, him walking into school today. So, if it's not correct, if it's not factual, please don't hesitate to call me. My phone is always right by my side, 919-587-7782. But as the person who sent me the message stated, there's a rat to be smelled in this position. Basically, in layman's term, I smell a rat. So I'm definitely still skeptical on the direct reason that Mr. Twitty retired, because after such a decorated career in the Wayne County and the greater Goldsboro and Wayne County public school system that is charter as well, I don't see it feasible for him, first of all, retiring on his own free will in the middle of the school year. But then even after that retirement, going back and taking a teacher's assistant's position at another charter school with such short time that has elapsed between his quote-unquote retirement. So there you have it. We're going to keep you, I guess, updated on this story and more. But this is one thing that, that concerns me about, our local school system is the continuous changing of administrators and principals and things like that. I mentioned this before in other videos where, when I was in school, principals were there for 10, 15, 20 years. So they established a culture. They established a standard. They established an environment of learning where, students and even, parents of students or students and children of students were able to come through and have that bond and, establish that connection with someone who had been vested in the learning environment of this particular community for years and years. Now they're bringing in people from, other states, other counties, other cities, and, keeping them for 2 or 3 years there and shuffling them around and moving them around. So how is there ever going to be any continuity in the overall operations of a learning environment if that is the case? But that's a whole nother video. I'm gonna let y'all know, more about that. And keep in mind, early voting for the school board starts on February the 15th. I am running for a District 3 seat, and it encompasses a lot of the inner city schools that are experiencing a lot of challenges. So if you definitely want to vote, if you're not registered to vote, if you want to vote for the early voting, you can go to the Wayne County Public Library. There's, I think, the Maxwell Center as well, a couple of other locations. But I would definitely be speaking more upon that as the date approaches. But once again, 919-587-7782. Peace and blessings.